and 9th. Go to acres.com to request your free tickets today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Expect sunny skies and very mild temps here to start off the work week. We'll top out near 60 this afternoon. South winds eventually, though, could gust 25 to 30. Increasing cloud cover tonight with a low of 41. We'll see a chance of showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder during the day tomorrow, and a high of around 50. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up on a warm Monday? Old School. Jay Foreman, Kenny Wilhite, brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, special ingredients, and butcher shop located at 84th and Havelock. The day after Super Bowl Sunday, day after a good Husker men's basketball victory. Wish we had the women's basketball victory yesterday, but they'll move onward and outward. And so we were talking in the spillover, the crossover, Kenny, about Eric Bieniemy. And I wanted to ask your opinion or your insight on the difference between being, I guess, a two-part question, being an offensive coordinator versus, say, like an offensive defensive head coach, who calls plays, and really how much of it is really a big deal considering the success Eric Bieniemy has had everywhere he's been.
I think they both do it.
Right.
I think they tag team it. I'm sure they both sit down and collaborate. This play will work here. This play will work there. But I'm sure both of them go in their office and draw plays, how they think it was going to work against their next opponent.
Sure.
I just think he's getting a short end of the deal because everybody keeps saying Andy Reid's calling plays, Reid's calling plays. But if you look at it, they're both talking to each other.
Right.
They're on the headsets talking to each other.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you that about Eric Bieniemy. Do you think his success, obviously, is exploded at Kansas City, is hurting him to becoming a head coach because he's not able to really truly interview because they're always in the AFC Championship or in the Super Bowl, in this case, obviously winning. So essentially a lot of the jobs are filled by when he's still working.
No. Philadelphia Eagles, OC and DC.
Yeah.
They landed jobs. Quickly.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we obviously know there's different dynamics too. And here's what people don't understand. There was a head coach for the Minnesota Vikings by the name of Brad Childress. He's actually like the equivalent of Bill Callahan up in Minnesota. He called himself Chili.
Mm-hmm.
That's what his nickname was. He's the one that kind of set forth to get rid of Dante Culpepper and go with Christian Ponder, and then kind of held his head above water and got Brett Favre. Essentially, that was Spielman doing it. But he came from Philly with Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
I think Andy Reid. He never had called plays. Offensive coordinator by name. Andy Reid was the 100% play caller. So when people say that, it's just an excuse because people forget that.
Yes.
Now, also the old Chicago Bears head coach, who's now back as their quarterback coach. That he was an offensive coordinator. He was probably more of an offensive coordinator or quarterback coach, and he ended up being a Chicago Bears head coach. But Eric Bieniemy has been designing some of the plays because the razzmatazz plays that they did, that's Eric Bieniemy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember back last year when they ran a play from like 1938 Army? It was like a wing T formation. Yes. Remember that, Austin? Eric Bieniemy found that just from watching, and he saw it, and then he said, "I'm going to put it in." And if you don't think Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid are lock and step, because Andy Reid, if you really watch the dynamics of it, isn't really calling all the plays. He's kind of foreseeing it. Now, granted, I'm sure he's overseeing it,
mm-hmm.
and they're getting some great partnership. But also it lets you know that there was some friction there at times. And I want to ask you about this. I think sometimes good friction among a coaching staff turns out like diamonds, because that's what you get from it. Because it's not personal. I think there was, there's times where he had to tighten up Patrick Mahomes before halftime. I think when they were out playing the Chargers one time, there was talk that Eric Bieniemy wouldn't be back. Andy Reid brought him back. Obviously won a Super Bowl because they felt like Tyreek Hill being gone and could possibly just go in another direction. Talk about sometimes either from personal experience or what just from being in the coaching field about sometimes I guess you call it friction or just back and forth or banter. I think it's good. What's your opinion?
It's really good. I think if both parties know it's for the benefit of the team,
right,
it's good.
Right.
But if there's egos involved, then
or it's personal,
or if it's personal,
right.
Like if you and I were co-defensive coordinators,
right?
We both at the beginning we say, hey, this is how we're going to do it.
Right.
We're not going to agree on everything.
Right.
We won't.
Shouldn't.
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't think
because we don't think alike.
Right.
But if we both have that understanding,
right,
that it's not about us, it's about the team,
right,
and the players, we'll be fine.
Yeah, eventually you'll get there.
Eventually you'll get there.
Because there'll be times that your ideas will be right or work out. You actually might have a good idea or a good play, and maybe it's just not executed right.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. So I think that Eric Bieniemy, it's unfortunate, for him, because then they try to say you need to go down to college and do all this stuff. I think right now, for him, he's and I want to ask you this: he's in a little bit of a weird spot. Do you continue along if he's able to go back to Kansas City and kind of always being second fiddle to Andy Reid? Then they'll say, well, you got Patrick Mahomes. Are you really a good? The excuses will still be there. Or do you bet on yourself and find a way to, I don't know, I hate to even say it, work your way up with a lesser quarterback and lesser head coach?
I don't think he needs to work his way up.
No, I don't think he does.
I think he's a proven commodity.
I'm not saying he's not proven, but I'm saying for him to get to where he wants to be, which is a head coach, and where he deserves to be. Because I think right now, sometimes, like with him and some other coaches, I think they will continue to push the goal line or move the goalposts. I truly do. Because there's no reason when you look at his resume, and when you look even back when he was a running back coach, and so he was a running back coach with the Vikings when Adrian Peterson went over 2,000 yards and was a comeback player. So his production as a position coach / offensive coordinator / assistant head coach or associate, whatever it is, associate head coach, is second to none, and has been doing it for longevity wise. Compared to the Eagles, the defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, have been offensive coordinators 1 or 2 years. So what do you think if you were to advise Bieniemy, right? What would you advise him to do?
You scared to address the elephant in the room?
I'm not scared to.
Yeah,
I just think that well, first of all, it's not an elephant in the room. There's data that shows the NFL owners ain't hiring no black coaches.
They're not hiring any black coaches
because here's what's the funny thing about it. It's like they have there are 3 or 4 excuses, right? One, you don't have any coordinator position experience. Well, he's a coordinator. Then it's like you got to call plays. That's number 2. And then it's like if you're a defensive coordinator, what they did with Steve Wilkes in Flores, well, it's an offensive league, so now we need an offensive coach. So that's the elephant in the room is not an elephant. It's not anything unknown. It's right in the face. It's whether people now it's already there. Now I feel like sometimes especially with the NFL, you're gonna have to find a way to like a different way to skin the cat with it get there.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got to here's also right. If anybody ever have a street cred card, it's probably Bruce Arians because he had nothing but brothers on his staff. I don't know what because he ain't got nothing but soul food up there eating on Friday. Bruce Arians was an offensive coordinator. I didn't even realize for like 20-some years, and he only got his props as a head coach is because when Pagano got sick with
leukemia.
Yeah, but Pagano got sick with leukemia, and they went on a run. That's it. So it's not just strictly to Eric Bieniemy. I think that what people don't understand about the NFL, I always tell people, they got a shelf life on you. Now, whether you're a Jay Foreman and outlive your shelf life or somebody that really outkicks it like Zach Thomas and ends up being a Hall of Famer, circumstances, dictate that.
Yes.
They actually pigeonhole coaches as well.
Which is sad.
Because there's a lot of white, black, and different, because there was Ed Chung that was offensive line coach.
Mm-hmm.
He got bypassed and said that they needed to hire minority or whatever. And he wasn't the right minority. Where there's a lot of coaches that get bypassed, right, based on being in the box. If you were to advise a young, upcoming high school coach or college coach, what do you think is more important? Who you're associated with, as far as like, who you start to kind of be with or in their coaching tree, or going for the biggest job? Because you could go and hit a big job, the head coach get fired, then you could be lost in translation.
Yep. So with me, it's who you with. It's
Right.
who you're with.
Yeah.
Yep. Who you know.
Right.
Get with a good tree, and then try to spread your branches from there.
Right. Because when you look at Andy Reid, you look at, well, of course, Bill Belichick, those guys. You could always say the Mike, Shanahan's and all them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of, they all are on to the same. They're all from Bill Walsh, and went from there. The tree is spread pretty wide, and then they've done a good job about it. I think what people don't understand as a head coach is, this is my opinion, is the best head coaches continue to coach their coaches.
Yes. And hold them accountable. Because they want them to be the best coach that they can be, regardless if Kenny goes on to be the best defensive coordinator at wherever, Kansas State, yep,
and then ends up being a head coach. They're not going to hold you back, because I think sometimes when whether they make a lot of money or it's they get too involved in themselves, they don't understand the better that their assistant coaches do. It makes them better.
Yes.
And it makes them look better. Because I feel like this coaching deal is all a cycle. You could be a head coach one day or for 5 years, get fired. Your defensive coordinator ends up, but look at DeMeco Ryans.
Yep.
Right. So Kyle Shanahan, say like DeMeco Ryans ends up being the head coach at Houston, and say he goes and ends up at the Giants and say like 6 years. Well, Kyle Shanahan might not have a head coaching job. Who do you think he's going to call to be his offensive coordinator?
DeMeco Ryan. I'll give you an example. There's a certain guy in Arizona. Cardinals, right? He had an interview for the head job, didn't get it, right? He was a head coach somewhere else. One of his assistants is up for the head coaching job now.
At Arizona. And then he in there like Flynn, or will hopefully.
Well, I mean, it's up to him.
Yeah.
But that's the
way it goes.
That's the way it goes.
It's a coach of business, and it's definitely, when you really look at it, it can make or break your program. It can make or break your organization, how it's done and how it's fostered. Because I'm a firm believer that when you look at the Eagles staff, when you look at the Kansas City staff, it's the two best staffs in the nation, or in the NFL, and they're the two best well-coached teams. And they were the ones that were the most consistent. So, it's a copycat league. So, you're going to go see, that doesn't mean that whoever is the next coach at the Indianapolis Colts end up going to be good, right? Because they've had, it seems like, as many coaches as the Texans have had in the last 4 years. Yeah. Frank Reich, then you got somebody else, and so forth and so on. But that's how it's spread. But that's how you create good coaches. I'm going to ask you this also before we go in our first break. In this day and time, with these young, say, college kids or young professional athletes, do you think it's better for a young coach to be the head coach, or a coach that's more seasoned, that's kind of maybe open to new, not the gristled guy that get off my lawn and I'm going to do it the same way I did it when I was in high school or college or pros, but the older coach that's been in these situations, that's maybe a little bit open to new ideas, but understands that, probably watched 10 years worth more of football than the new coach.
I think if you're qualified, regardless of your age,
you
should be the guy.
Right. And yeah, I totally agree. I think I see the advantages of both. One, you want to make sure that you can kind of relate to the players, but then also you want to make sure that you have the experience to put the players in the right situation to be successful and relate to the players, all within your personality.
Yes.
I think right now, if you really looked at these two coaching staffs, and in particular the two head coaches, how they relate and talk to the players is probably 60-70% why they win.
You're talking about the Eagles and
the
the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Well, Kelsey said it himself. Andy Reid pushes their buttons, but he pushes them the right way,
Right.
not in a degrading way.
Right.
So Andy Reid probably was a degrading coach early on in his career,
and
then learned how to push guys' buttons without being degrading.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or saw it how
Or saw how
it didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think the relationships.
The relationships.
The understand, and then also to have the calmness to not. Okay, let's just take the Philadelphia Eagles. If you would have listened to ESPN, NFL Network, they should have drafted somebody and to take Jalen Hurts' spot. That head coach had to go and stand on the table for him.
Mm-hmm.
To stand up to a GM possibly that might have been thinking about it, that actually is his boss. Howie, he's probably obviously one of the best GMs and very innovative, could have already just said, you know what, but this dude said, look, I'm the head coach. This is my guy. I will get him better. But you can't do that if you don't have if he didn't have enough relationship with Jalen Hurts to know what he's made. It's great that you can call up Nick Saban. Nick Saban there's not going to be a coach that's going to be like, yeah, man, Kenny played for me for 3, won me a national championship, was the best teammates, but he's garbage. He don't have any leadership. That's never going to happen.
Mm-mm.
And he's a good kid. So that conversation ain't going to happen. So when you get to know Jalen Hurts, when you get to know Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, guys that are a little bit older, then you mix in some of the young guys, and to be able to get, Gardner Johnson as a throwaway trade with the Saints to get him, and he's a different personality. You have to have a relationship with the players, and that's what's huge. And it can't be dictated by you. It's got to be natural, and it doesn't have to be close. It's got to be, okay, when we're here, what up, Kenny? What you need? How's your family doing?
Yep.
And people don't understand how important that is.
That's very important.
Authenticity.
It's got to be authentic.
Right.
Yes, it has to be.
That's the next thing I'm going to ask you coming out of this break about being authentic, because I have a little of an analogy about players, and I want your opinion because you've been around more modern day players than obviously I have. So that's the first great segment after the Super Bowl. We're going to get into a little bit of team building. Kenny Wilhite, Jay Foreman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
A new year means new goals and upgrading, but that doesn't only apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2022 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Lake.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. We encourage those who go out to make smart decisions behind the wheel or plan accordingly to have someone lined up for a safe ride home. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care. Flowers and chocolates are great for Valentine's Day, but you know what really earns you bonus points? A massage. No, not from you, but from the professionals at the Body Shop. Now is the time to purchase a gift certificate for your significant other to make sure you're the big winner this Valentine's Day. Go to thebodyshoplincoln.com and select from their variety of specific massages. Once you've purchased, you can either print out the certificate or email it to the lucky recipient. Do Valentine's Day right this year with a massage from the Body Shop at 48th and A.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Attention all Wings fans! 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings. There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you could earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beers, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Expect sunny skies and very mild temps here to start off the work week. We'll top out near 60 this afternoon. South winds eventually, though, could gust 25 to 30. Increasing cloud cover tonight with a low of 41. We'll see a chance of showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder during the day tomorrow, and a high of around 50. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back, old school. Kenny Wilhite, Jay Foreman on the 1s and 2s, 3s and 4s. This Monday after the Super Bowl, the end of this season. Not really, because the NFL never stops, but the end of this regular season. Now, as we all do, we turn the page onto the next year, but we're talking about teams inside the locker room insight, which Kenny is phenomenal because Kenny was a great player here. Obviously went and played up in Canada professionally. I didn't know this, Kenny, that you shot yourself, well, not shot yourself in the foot, but kind of went in there and did the right thing and tried to get over them NFL GMs when they see here's what people don't understand about the NFL GMs, because I've only been called into the principal's office one time, and my dad always told me, he's like, they like the feds. When he asks you, they know, right? Yep. So I heard you when you were on it, I think with VJ maybe or something, the story. So that's obviously very committed, because I've been there, because I know how it is when you're in there. Do I want to tell them the truth? I think I could. I do have a little bit of an alibi, but then I looked at him and I was like, yeah, man, this, that, and the other. But I want to ask you this about, because I always say this, and sometimes I guess the fans or the listeners really don't understand, and just everybody just doesn't understand athletes. Now, I don't expect them to, because they're not. We've only been there. But I always say this, like, athletes or football players are like, here's my analogy, is like when there's a pack of wolves together, and it maybe like it's one pack or other, but they kind of like have that sense, right? And so they kind of feel you out just by looking in your eyes, just how you move, just your body language, your aura. I wanted to ask you about the modern day player, right? When you talked about being authentic, how important it is, no matter if you're not cool, or if you just like the dorky coach, or you are, whoever you are, you got to be authentic. Talk about the spider senses of athletes and how quickly, Like if you've been in those meetings, especially in the professional level, where a coach would be there, he corny. He ain't authentic. You get done lifting weights, and you just look like how we looking at each other right now. You be like, man, this is gonna be a long season. It's gonna be a long season. Talk about that right there, because it's true. I talk about the football guys, and I talk about the census. And from me being down there with the team and those players, people always said, or you always heard, you can't coach these guys hard. Actually, you can coach these guys harder or as hard as long as you're authentic and you're truthful and you are who you are.
Man, I was blessed to be there 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years. Truly a blessing.
Well, just talk about your whole experience as a player from college, professional, and then coaching yourself with Coach Sam, which is a great mentor. I remember that, and then being here. Just talk about the Spider, because that ain't changed.
No.
Now, they might be bigger, faster, stronger, supposedly. I ain't buying that either, because these linebackers are tiny and they slow. Now, we won't get into that now. But okay, they tiny and they slower. Same with because I watched the combine. I'm like, we was jogging these times, right? But I want to talk about how that has not changed. The game might change the plays, but that hadn't changed. And talk about how important it is because you're like the man in the arena. All the lights are on you as a coach, head coach, coordinator, whatever. Talk about being authentic and how the perception, whether it's reality or just your aura, how huge that is.
I know for me, I went back home this weekend and I had lunch with my high school coach.
Right.
He was very authentic.
Right.
Very.
Right.
So as an African-American going to an all-white high school,
right,
from day one, he was very authentic. So
right.
I knew I could trust him. I can let him inside my bubble.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So then I go to junior college the
right.
same way. The head coach was very authentic.
Right.
He will let you have it, but then he'll put his arms around.
Right.
So I knew I could let him inside my bubble.
Then you came to the ultimate Messiah, which is McBride.
Then hold on. First off, now when I got to Nebraska, I was on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, okay, yeah, my bad.
I was on the offensive side. I forgot
you was a quarterback. I forgot.
I was on the offensive side of the ball. So I knew T.O. was authentic.
Yeah,
when I met him.
Yeah,
from the jump.
Yep.
And then as a scout team player, you
knew McBride was authentic too.
I knew McBride was authentic, but Coach Darlington was the one that. So you had run-ins with Coach Darlington.
Oh yeah,
as an offensive scout team player. So when they came to me and asked me to move to defensive back, I looked at T.O. like he had 5 years. I was like, me and this dude don't see eye to eye.
In water.
I said, he goes, well, he's the one that asked for you. So we had a one-on-one meeting, and we put both of us put our
stuff on the table. Yeah.
So I said, Coach, and I'm here to help the team. That's my goal. Whatever you need me to do to help this team, I'm going to do it.
Right.
I said, but you're going to have to be real with me because I've seen him ruin a lot of careers.
Yeah.
Because guys couldn't take it, right? Yeah. So, and a lot of athletes that couldn't take it. So when I switched over to that side of the ball, I knew what I was getting myself into.
Right. And he knew what he
knew what he was getting himself into.
Right.
Because first and foremost, I told him my last name is Wilhite. It is not Darlington.
Right.
You're not finna talk to me sideways.
And think you're gonna go home without no black eye.
It just ain't gonna happen.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, people out there. Let me tell you something, man. Coach McBride is different. Coach McBride, like when he would go off on me, I was more. It was like kind of like T.O. I was like, man, I let my man down.
Yes.
Right. And then plus he just giving you the business. And then as he's giving you the bit, like for me, one time he was giving me the business. Then the dip and all that stuff was in my. And then everybody just watching like, dang, he done did the captain because I was a captain, and you middle linebacker, so you kind of like the captain
of
even
the defense.
when you ain't the captain, just giving me the business. So you sitting there taking it, and your my sphincter muscle, your butt be tight, right? You're like, dang, you let him do. But when Coach Darlington says some stuff to you, man, I swear I looked at him one time. I was about to take off the pass, like, man, bump this football stuff.
Exactly.
Like me and you, we
gonna throw hands.
I got to come see.
You got to see me. So. But I knew what I was getting myself into. Like he said about McBride, you knew it was authentic. You knew it. So fast forward to the pros, when I got to the Bears, a couple of those guys were not authentic.
That's just most of the NFL coaches.
It was, it was crazy what difference between college and NFL coaches back in those days. So I didn't let them in. I stuck to myself and kind of hurt me a little bit.
Right.
They thought
they want to draw a perception on you.
They want to draw he drew a perception on me.
Yeah, that's what that's the easy way.
That's the easy way. So I just told him, I said, Coach Wine said, listen, I like to stay to myself. I said, I don't let too many people inside my circle, but I'm about this team. But that's just me. That's how, you're always eating lunch by yourself. You're always doing this by yourself. That's me. I'm a rookie. I don't know anybody on this team. The only person I knew was Reggie Cooper because he played here in Nebraska with me.
Right.
So if Coop wasn't in the cafeteria,
exactly,
I'm sitting by myself, right? Now I became good friends with a couple of the defensive backs. But other than that, it was then. Then I went to Canada. My position coach actually played at Texas, Bill Bradley.
Oh.
Great dude.
Bill Bradley is
great dude.
Bill Bradley is awesome.
Great dude.
Yeah.
So
cold-blooded player too.
Cold-blooded player, and he was a great coach.
Phenomenal coach.
And he told me, he said, listen here, because when I switched from NFL to Canada, it was like 8 games in that season. I said, listen, just put me on the practice roster. Let me, So he said, so he saw how fast I learned. He goes, you're gonna be a great coach someday. I'm gonna hire you.
Right.
Exactly what that was exactly what was his words.
Yeah.
Right.
He'd say that to you. He have a dip,
and he'd have a dip in his mouth,
and then he'd always have his play sheet in his left hand, and then he always be doing that too.
Yes.
Yeah. Bill Bradley was great.
So
man.
he was a great coach / mentor,
right,
for me.
Yeah,
for 3 years. No, Sacramento 2 years or 1.5 years.
Right.
Then San Antonio. So 2.5 years. He was a great coach and mentor, who I knew he was authentic.
Trust, right.
Right. So I go to Canada and go to Ottawa. That DB coach was, now the DB coach, I'll tell you a quick story about the DB coach I had in Ottawa. Bruce Pickens.
He was your coach?
Well, his DB coach in Atlanta was my DB coach in Ottawa.
Right.
So he drew a perception on me because of Bruce. Because of Bruce Pickens.
Man, that's huge.
He found out hold on now, because it wasn't good.
Yeah, he found out you played at Nebraska.
He found out I played in Nebraska, and he said, brother, let me have a conversation with you. He said, I'm the one that stood on the table for them to draft Bruce Pickens. Bruce Pickens held out.
Yep.
Right? Showed up, and there was a test called the 110 test.
Oh, yeah.
There's a conditioning test. Well, Bruce Pickens was kind
failed
of
it. And
he ran 2 of them and then fell out on the field.
And he was a kind of a bigger corner.
Yes. So
number 38.
Yes. So the position coach was holding his signing bonus check. It was a position coach, the GM, the head coach, and the defensive coordinator. Took Bruce out to do his 110 test. So he said the GM and the head coach, the GM, the head coach, and the owner looked at him like, this is the guy you wanted us to draft? Got him fired. So his perception of me was like what he drew off of Bruce, because we played in Nebraska.
Right.
Until he got to know me as a player. I said, Coach, I don't drink, I don't smoke.
Yeah.
Football is me. That's all I want to do is play football. So once he realized that, we were good. Then I went to Hamilton, and Hamilton was a complete train wreck.
Right.
Because, those coaches were so bad in Hamilton.
Right.
So, but other than that, when, like he said, the authenticity of a coach
is huge.
It's huge. And that's what I always prided myself on that.
Right.
My first meeting was about you as a person. It wasn't about football.
Right.
It was about you as a person. I wanted to get to know you as a person. We didn't even when I went on the recruiting visits, you have individual meetings with recruits at your position. A lot of guys go in their office, the first thing they talk about is football, how they can get you to the NFL.
Right. Yeah.
That's not me.
Yeah, they forget that 1% ain't changed since like 1970.
Yeah. So my meeting started off about, where you come from, what your mom and dad do. If your mom and dad was in that meeting, how, both parents work, what do they do to create that relationship, to let them know that I cared about them as a person. What's your favorite food? What you like to eat? So I know if I got you here, what's your favorite snack? I'm gonna have that in the drawer.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was never about football. It was always about you as a person. Then, because if it wasn't for football, you wouldn't be sitting in front of me.
Right.
We wouldn't be talking. Right.
Right.
Football is what got you to this point. Then I'm gonna tell you you're gonna have to go to class. You're gonna be on time. On time is 10 minutes early. If you ever late, you're gonna see me, and you don't want to see me.
Right.
I always try to take that approach.
Right.
Because if I can't count on you to be on time for me, and I can't count on you to play cover too.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. People don't understand the correlation between. My dad taught me this. Was he always said, look, man, he's like, my dad was actually a pretty good student. He's like, I don't expect you to be an A student. I expect you to have A effort.
Yes.
And so I was like, what does that got to do with sports? He's like, it's a correlation. He's like, you work hard in school, you're going to work hard and do the little things in sports, and then that's going to boil over everything else. He's like, will it always be perfect? No. He's like, you'll study for a test and might fail it. But then what happens is you'll actually will feel like, okay, I gave my best effort. Now, how can I get better at whatever subject. It's no different than football.
No.
And then if you're not on time, man, that's such a huge thing. And especially like obviously with the new regime at Nebraska, because obviously we're moving on to you got winter conditioning and stuff like that. In short, right here, we got about 2 minutes. Talk about the importance of the first impression as a coach and what that can do for a player. So if you're a coach, the first impression that I can make, whether in the weight room, classroom, or just we talking.
If I was a coach and taking over a new program, I'm a position coach.
Right.
You're one of my DBs. You're one of the top DBs. You had a lot of playing time last year. So the first time I meet you, I'm huge on this. If we set a meeting and you're not on time, that's a bad sign. Right. If you come in my meeting and you got your hat on, your headphones on, your pants sagging off your butt, that's not a good sign for me. So we're going to address that first.
Right.
That's the first thing we're going to address. And then first time you get in the weight room and I come down there and you taking shortcuts and I see you over there
playing around, not playing games.
That's not a good
faking it till you make
faking it till you make it. That's not we're going to address that. So everything's going to be dressed and laid out on the table.
Right.
Then the first time we go out for winter conditionings and I see you standing in the back of the line and you're supposed to be one of the leaders. No, son, you got to be the first in line.
Right.
I want you up front. And if you're not a leader vocally, you're going to lead in a different way.
Right.
So we're going to address that. We're going to address that. We're not going to let those keep sliding.
Yeah, because I think the more you kind of tolerate it or don't address it, then it becomes a habit.
You give them an inch, they're going to take a foot.
And that's look at the the one thing I'll say right here before we get off. I was listening to Gino. Was it Ariema? I'll be killing these names. And he talked about pushing kids. He's like, oh, the greatest players he's had in teams. He's like, I've had to push 99% of my kids. He's like, you'll always have the 1% that's always going to, be there, be first, and stay late and work hard no matter who the coach is. Most of them need pushed. And they want to be pushed.
Even your best player, you need to push him. You need to challenge him in some way.
Yeah. Well, if you're a really good player, you just don't want to come to practice and just go and have the same thing. They get bored.
Yes.
They get bored. They aren't entertained and they aren't motivated, because then it becomes here because they want to have something there. And then what they'll do as you challenge them, they'll challenge Austin, they'll challenge Jay, they'll challenge Kenny. And then that's how you have your best players that are your best leaders, your best workers. And that's how you have the best teams. That's a good segment, man. Speaking of that, I got to go out here and, try to get these kids, try to run a little secondary break and bust North Star upside their head to the white meat. So I'll be back tomorrow. It's old school with Jay Foreman. DP is going to jump in here with Kenny, and then Austin and DP are going to take it on home from 5 to 6. Hey, but when you hear that thing rocking, we're going to be knocking, Kenny. We're about to no, I'm just playing. Old school Jay Foreman and Kenny Wilhite, man. We'll be back. We are out.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In alumni news, Lincoln North Star's former distance runner Geraldine Poe has qualified for the U.S. Olympic Team Trials Marathon. Switching to girls basketball on Monday, January 6th, College View beat Boys Town 35-18. Lincoln Lutheran put on an impressive defensive performance, beating Ralston 50-9. For boys basketball on Monday, Parkview Christian dominated in their win over Christian Iowa 89-45. Terrence Scott and Braylon Morris would lead Parkview with 21 and 20 points. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Listen up, guys. Valentine's Day is almost here, and it's 3rd and goal, and we need a touchdown, not a field goal. You need a personal florist so you don't drop the ball. And Petal Creations can be the MVP for you this year by helping you impress the lady in your life with a Heart Box of Love display of roses. Trust me on this one, this play call will result in a touchdown. Call Petal Creations today to reserve your flowers at 402-423-6500 or go to petalcreations.com.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you could earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's efforts. It's the entire dealership. Sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Flowers and chocolates are great for Valentine's Day, but you know what really earns you bonus points? A massage. No, not from you, but from the professionals at The Body Shop. Now is the time to purchase a gift certificate for your significant other to make sure you're the big winner this Valentine's Day. Go to thebodyshoplincoln.com and select from their variety of specific massages. Once you've purchased, you can either print out the certificate or email it to the lucky recipient. Do Valentine's Day right this year with a massage from The Body Shop at 48th and A.
This is Old School on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it, man. We're like, Kenny, are you a pro wrestling guy?
No.
Okay.
You say pro wrestling?
Uh-huh. So there was a group called the Four Horsemen.
Okay.
So it was Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard, the Andersons, the Anderson brothers, Gene and I was actually Ole and Arn originally. But how they got over, not only were they super talented, but you never knew which two was going to face you of the four. So they'd play in these matches and just say, hey, you're going to face the Four Horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
And some days it could be Flair and Tully. Some day it could, like they would swap them up. Well, Old School is like the Four Horsemen. we just gonna mix it and match. We just go like you're gonna have to line up just to see who we bring to the table today.
Gotcha.
You never know who's in play. You never know who's gonna handle business. Kenny, appreciate you. Can we do this? Formally, officially welcome you to the family, like to the ticket family. This is like to have you around, bro. Come on, coach.
Starting April, what's the last day in April? What's the last day? May 1st.
You won't be official till June.
Okay, so you just heard it from the boss.
But see, you up in here
officially.
You just hanging out.
I'm just hanging out.
Teaching us. You just out here
No,
coaching.
y'all teaching me.
You out here giving coaching exhibitions on how it really happens.
Y'all teaching me.
How it really goes down, Austin. See, like this is how
between shows, he taught me when you go from shuffling to turning with the receiver in motion.
Right. Okay.
In 90 seconds.
So
all I need to know.
We're gonna go through it right now. So give it to me again. In the to change from a back pedal from your original set to back pedal to hip turn. What are the keys?
Keys?
Yeah.
What I taught was your eyes first and foremost have to be right.
Okay. Where are smart eyes?
If you're in a zone and if you're good at it, you can read the quarterback for run or pass.
Mm-hmm.
Once I said you walk out, your first 2 steps are in the walk. Mm-hmm. After your second step hits the ground, you'll know if it's run or pass. If it's pass, your eyes go to your man, to the receiver.
Do you ever find your eyes looking at offensive linemen to see what their setup is?
Do I?
Uh-huh.
If you're at the end man on the line of scrimmage, if you're playing off a tight end, yes. Mm-hmm. If you're a cornerback or a safety playing off a tight end side, yes. But if you have a guy flexed out, your eyes have to be quarterback to man.
I need to get this one to you because I know you got to go at 5.
Yes.
But I need to ask this. I need
Go
to
ahead.
ask this question on this because the Chiefs kept catching the Eagles when they stacked and they'd run motion off the stack and there was nobody out there. 3 touchdowns. They couldn't get anybody outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody out there. Kelsey's out there walking. What's the gauge there? What are you looking for?
Well, you got Andy Reid, who's one of the best play callers to ever call.
Right.
He made adjustments, great adjustments. He saw it in the first half, where if I send a guy in motion, that if they're in man, that DB is going to automatically take off. Well, Coach Bush just joined us. He just joined us. We know, when your guy goes in motion, you stay behind until he crosses the center. Once he crosses the center, now you get in a faster pace, right?
And they did it on 3 different,
but on the opposite side, they did it one side of the formation. They did it, then they went back to the other side.
They picked on everybody.
Yeah,
they picked on everybody.
That's just scheme. They knew if this guy went in motion, now they're gonna bump. Now you have a little bitty DB, a man on Kelsey, and they're gonna take advantage of it.
I would now that we got Coach. Appreciate you. Look, the microphone just said, "Hey,"
because you got the guru.
In the office, so I came by. I just came by.
You got the guru in here now.
No, this is
it's just eyes. Your eyes have to be where they're supposed to be.
I need to ask Coach Bush this thing because it drove me crazy yesterday. For 2 weeks of planning, when you know that Kelsey's focus won, right? That has to be focused. How was it possible that on his first 15 releases, they never once gave him they never rerouted him, not once in 15 releases? How is that possible if he's the key?
It'd be hard. I mean, that's a hard one to consider because they kept showing all of his wide open stuff throughout the preparation for the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
There was a lot of vision coverage, which means there was a lot of 3-week coverage, different coverages where he was getting free access off the ball, and that was I felt the same thing. Like, how was he getting there? It's like this guy. How can he's not going to get 8 catches, but he does, all the time. He's such an extreme route runner. The one route right there that sail route to me is up and over, but the one where he stuck it and brought it back, he's got such good head and shoulders, and he runs and sticks his foot in the ground so well. It's pretty amazing. And like I said, with the one where the bump took place on it right there, the guy did the death blow thing was he got head up.
Yep.
And once you're head up on a big body, you had no chance. I always use the term, if you're high, he'll fly by.
And he just drove him off. And then actually swam moved him to get the free release.
We call it big boy.
Yeah.
He big boyed him.
Yeah.
Get off me, little guy.
Yeah, that's why you always want in the matchups. It's always if you don't have somebody that can. A couple examples like at Nebraska right now, like Buddha, Javen Wright.
Yeah,
he's really good on tight ends because he's so long and he has a little bit of girth to him too to be able to have some thickness to his body.
Yeah,
because what happens at tight ends, you just get. I always say, you'll never get a pass interference call if you get head up. He's just going to blast you or whatever he wants to do, and it's not pass interference at the ball. They're not going to call that. So it's very difficult. But on the the wide opens down there, it was just two things: ridiculous eye violations. I mean, it was just such bad eye violations. But on the one when it was 3rd and 3 for a first down or 3rd and 4, you didn't have to be in zero coverage. You don't have to be in that. You can be bumping that, and there's just like for us in our deal, we'd have played red 5. He's going to throw it. It's still tight coverage, but there's zone people in there. So you're not terrified if the guy takes across, like, how am I going to cover it?
Well, you're putting guys on a hash just to be responsible for that internal half and then hope that Kelsey runs into it or that the crosser gets rerouted. There was nothing in the middle of the field.
And then also down there with when the one that they had, I think it was the second one, they brought middle pressure as a zero blitz.
Yes.
I'm like, down there, pressures don't do anything because the ball flies. It's
comes
1,000, the ball's out. So it doesn't do as well. I'd have been playing coverage on that particular because all that was a 2-point play.
Yes.
It was a 2-point play.
I need to get.
So the defensive coordinator has to take some fault for that.
He took all of it.
Yeah, I think there was a panic. Things weren't going well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pressure him and hope
he makes the decision.
Hope
bad
something
decision
kind of happens right there because it happened too. Like Tony had what, one catch, right?
Yeah,
one catch for a touchdown.
Touchdown.
And what the other guy? What's his name? Sky. What did he have for in the game for catches?
I only remember I remember first down, and then there's an intermediate route that he got work on.
And then also with that, they tried to do the same concept on the one of the penalty.
Yeah,
but those other two guys could run the route so much more efficiently. That's kind of why he got caught up and he got where they got held or didn't get held, whatever. But the route wasn't very efficient.
Well, that's why I was surprised that the flag was thrown because it's just they could have called that 36 times in previous plays and nothing there. Let's go ahead and get the break in, and then I'll formally thank them for what they're doing.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
All right. And let me say before, as he takes off, I want to thank Bill Bush for what he's doing for the station, the add-on. Kenny, I know you're going to take off as well. I want to thank you both while you're here. Awesome. What you're adding to the station, greatly appreciated. It's added value, quality entertainment. I'm looking forward to what happens next. I appreciate you both.
Thank you.
I really do mean that. Now we'll take the official break. We'll come back. Second hour Old School coming up on 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstorats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Listen up, guys. Valentine's Day is almost here, and it's 3rd and goal, and we need a touchdown, not a field goal. You need a personal florist so you don't drop the ball. And Petal Creations can be the MVP this year by helping you impress the lady in your life with the Heart Box of Love display of roses. Trust me on this one, this play call will result in a touchdown. Call Petal Creations today to reserve your flowers at 402-423-6500 or go to petalcreations.com.
Max 10 for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt 10s. Take it to the max at Max 10. Get a 30-day pass, just $25. With stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max 10 man. Get 30 days for just $25 now at all 4 Lincoln Max 10 locations.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. Now at the Williamsburg Village, you can enjoy all 50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, wanting to say Happy New Year and thank you to all of you for your continued support. We have just closed out another outstanding year, and we want to start 2023 off with a bang. The new GMC and Chevrolet inventory continues to roll in, and I'll actually be picking up my 2023 GMC later this month. So with interest rates continuing to climb, Coppell is partnering with General Motors and now offering 2.9% APR on select models. So we invite you to the dealership. Check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved.
Husker Nation, Amy Williams and Nebraska women's basketball needs you. February 18th at 1 p.m. Huskers take us. We need your help to sell out Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time ever. For event and ticket information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hour number 2, and we pulled a 4-horseman job, and we switched the lineup around, and we've got some new talent in the ring. Or we could do like the Masked Assassins, where you didn't know which one was in the ring. They would feign identity if one of them got hurt. I'm DP. He's Austin Orman. Thank you for joining us on Old School on a Monday. It's Super Bowl Monday, and there's lots to talk about. And I do want to flip the script a little bit because there's a lot of stuff going on here in Huskerland that we need to talk about as well. And then we head towards state basketball tournament, girls up first, then the boys. We are going to cover all 40 games at P-Bay. All 48 games. We're going to call the games. And while we're doing that, we're going to have representation at the women's Big Ten tournament in Minneapolis. Also, the men's tournament, when they're in Minneapolis at the very same time. We'll cover all of those games for you, at least to give you some coverage of what's going on, some stories behind the scenes of what's going on in Minneapolis. And then the following week will be Chicago for the men's Big Ten tournament. And after Saturday's performance, we got a little bit more city about that tournament, and it doesn't feel as much like a guaranteed out. It feels like, they could get a win and then make somebody really nervous on Thursday. So there's lots to talk about in that space. Plus, there are other sports going on. And I want to say this. You can add to the conversation 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line, Honda Lincoln Hotline. If you want to call in and shout out, you can do that as well. The live video stream, Starter Heyman's live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter live. If you want to put, you want to see what's going on in studio. It's attractive without Coach Bush and without Coach Foreman and Coach Will help him Coach Foreman because he coaches us. But that segment there was heaven for me, and I look forward to what happens in the future. Coach Bush, Sipple, Strick, Rashawn, AD, yourself, Rico, Nick came down with Mark and hung out with us at the Super Bowl party last night at Buffalo Wings and Rings. Shout out to that staff for really taking care of us, and then a great crowd. And let me tell you, if you were there yesterday and gave love, man, I appreciate y'all so much. That was a fun way to watch Super Bowl. Great crowd. You guys stayed to the end. The service was great. The food was great. Tons of prizes. Somebody even donated cash for us to give away, which $125 a quarter, cash money on the spot, right? All the gift certificate go on from last week or on there, and you can see whether you won. I know that there are gift cards for first and third quarters, and then jerseys for halftime and final score. So I think we'll do a formal announcement just to make sure everybody knows, as long as we can read the names and we make sure. I want to thank the folks from the Mercado for sponsoring us and allowing us to do what we do and bring, the sort of conversation each and every single day. I know they were busy this weekend. So, and go to Casa Bovina. Go try to get reservations. I know it's tough. I know Valentine's Day is coming up, but Casa Bovina is a great location if the reservations aren't full. But you're getting – I want to go to dinner and have the tomahawk as they prepare it so I can see what it's actually like. So I'm working on that. I'm working on that. From the text line, Axel Foster says, especially in the mornings, he said Bush is a master at giving Sipple grief, and I'm changing the verbiage. Yeah, that's in space. That actually, you're absolutely right. But he and Sipple get along, and they were hilarious yesterday before the game, just hanging out. What Blanket says, I'm grateful for the knowledge that Coach Bush is sharing on the ticket. But how's the guy who took an NU defense that gave up almost 600 yards and 35 first-half points against Oklahoma and made them a strength of the team by end of season working in radio? Let that marinate in space. Dunno. I don't know.
Good for us, though.
Good for us. Good for the listeners. Same in play for a guy that was the unofficial mayor of the entire state of Nebraska when it comes to meeting families and having discussions and changing people's lives and making connections and being an outlier, like a conduit for coaches around the state to be able to reach out to the Husker athletic program and say, hey, look, you might be missing one. I might have one for you. And doing it over a long period of time. Coach Wilhite, listen, Kenny's a good dude. Like they're both, he and Coach Bush are both really good guys who happen to be really good in this profession. So I made it clear to them, whether official or unofficial, if they want a place to hang out and vent. I mean, imagine having all that information and not having a place to share it. Like, I'm like, okay, come on.
Imagine a ticket uncensored with those guys.
Oh my. Well,
what they do share is already fantastic.
Here's the thing that I'm actually, it's in my head, but imagine a panel with Vershawn, Jay, Bush, Wilhite. Woo! Like a wide open panel of just, and yeah, I'd have to wear a referee's jersey and have a whistle. And a big clock that sat in front of them that counted the amount of time they had to to speak, but the understanding of football and an understanding of how business is being done in this space, how recruiting actually works, right? For people who have actually been in the room, how coaching responsibilities lay out over the course of time, finding out from Bush what that transition was like. Right, one day you're a special team space, and now you've got to run the defense, and to do it with the quickness and the children play. Like I said, there's a lot that goes on, and it's good to know that there were quality people. There were some quality people in the space who did what they did, do what they do, and I love their accountability, because when you're willing to go through that and then show up here and turn on a microphone, bravo to you.
We talked about that at the end of On the Block, and they talked about it a little bit here in Old School too. The authenticity.
Yeah.
Two authentic dudes in Kenny and Bill Bush, who, with everything going down the way it was in North Stadium, could have punted on their job responsibilities, kicked the feet up, said, that's that.
Yep.
You can tell those guys were working every day because they love this program.
It's important, right, to find people that love what they do, and then they love why they do it, and then they take pride in how they do it. That's all. Like I told anybody here in this space, I mean, once you get the credit to do this, right, and it requires some investment, right? Like you can't just walk in the door and do this thing every day. It's too much. But it's also the accountability that's required in this space. There are a lot of people that have, strong opinions about a certain thing, but being accountable for it over the course of time and following rules and guidelines. And this is why in the training of the student athletes, it's, listen, even if I'm not on air with you, I'm in your ear, because I don't want you getting in dangerous spaces. I do want to say this as well. Throughout the course of the last 18 months or so, we've brought on and created some broadcasters in this space. And I said it was unique in that I hoped to create more broadcasters, not people who were just student athletes who were talking and doing kind of the podcast vibe, but I wanted actually to give them some balance to move forward if this is a thing they want to do. And I can tell you there's 3 or 4 folks who do shows currently that I make every intention and planning on hiring them full-time when they graduate from the University of Nebraska, because they have what it takes. They check every box. Some of them are communications or media folks. Some of them have just fallen into it. But I got a text Sunday, and it was unexpected, but it made my day. It made my day because it's why we do what we do. Like, to be in this space and to train people and kind of go through it. So it says this, and now because hey, DP, and everything that's going on in the ticket. Been meaning to send you a text for a while, but just wanted to say thank you for everything you did for me in Lincoln. I ended up changing my job, and I've been working at our local radio station for the past 4 months, and I love it. Just today, I commented on a sporting event, and I'll leave it to that. And being able to hold the conversation with the coach, knowing how to interview him and allow him to explain things about the sport that most people do not know, just like we did on our show. I attribute all of this to 937 The Ticket and what you taught us and how much you believed in us. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for everything. Now, I want to tell you, I'm a tough old dude, but this one made me cry, because I keep saying this and I'll keep repeating it. There are some incredible stories in this Husker athletic department. There are some fantastic young people who just need an opportunity. I don't know who that mentor is.
You know, after a hearty meal, the worries of the world slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Husker Nation, Amy Williams and Nebraska women's basketball needs you February 18th at 1 p.m. as the Huskers take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. We need your help to sell out Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time ever. For event and ticket information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, wanting to say Happy New Year and thank you to all of you for your continued support. We have just closed out another outstanding year, and we want to start 2023 off with a bang. The new GMC and Chevrolet inventory continues to roll in, and I'll actually be picking up my 2023 GMC later this month. So with interest rates continuing to climb, Cobble is partnering with General Motors and now offering 2.9% APR on select models. So we invite you to the dealership. Check us out online at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives.
Being your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soups, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
Shopping for is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OakStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
Oak Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Expect sunny skies and very mild temps here to start off the work week. We'll top out near 60 this afternoon. South winds eventually, though, could gust 25 to 30. Increasing cloud cover tonight with a low of 41. We'll see a chance of showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder during the day tomorrow, and a high of around 50. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Austin Orman got something for you. I want to put this in your hand and take you through the week that is. Right? The week that is. And you can tell me if any of these things jump out at you more than another. And it's a busy week. Like I thought, tons going on. How do you decide what to do? How do you decide what your focus is? So after the win at home at PBA, come from behind, down 17, down 11 late, and you make the run, and then you go on a 12-2 run in overtime. As a Hoops fan, are you starting to get more excited, more curious? Do you still have doubt? Where do you stand?
Still curious because given the inconsistency of this team early on, you never knew what you were going to get. But now I think they've bought into toughness. They've bought into resiliency. And you're going to need that going on the road to the rack against a team that wants to take you out back, take you into the alleyway, and, fight more when they play basketball. Not in a dirty way, but in a, you're going to feel us tomorrow. You're going to feel us the next day. You're going to have a hangover your next game. I'm curious to see how this Nebraska team travels up to Rutgers in a team that plays a similar style of ball.
Who do you feel more comfortable in stating that absolutely they win their first playoff game in the Big Ten tournament? The men's program or the women's program?
I still think I trust the women a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do.
Mm-hmm. Why?
They've been there, done that.
Yeah.
The men are a tough out every year in that first round because we've seen them play the teams in that level pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the women go toe-to-toe with higher seeds.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen all conference performances, not just night in, night out, not just here and there, but month in, month out. We know what that women's team can be at its ceiling, and I like the potential of that.
I still see them potentially. And first of all, I usually try to stay away from officials because you can't change it.
Yeah.
And I don't know where their eyes were or what they saw or why. But I felt uneven with them watching the women's game against Michigan. It just felt unbalanced, right? It felt unfair. Playing a similar style of play, both teams playing the same physicality, and then Nebraska being called differently because of their physicality and the way that they play physical, right?
And you wish it was the first time.
Right? Like, it looks familiar, and it makes you uncomfortable, and you go, okay. So, but I also wanted to say this. Now, 2 great wins by the wrestling program. And I've said for 18 months that Mikey Labriola is my favorite wrestler in all of America. And I follow it enough to just go, okay, right? That as you watch him, he just has swagger and style and substance, and he's innovative in what he uses. They're all taught the same thing, but the innovation part of it comes into play.
Because you can be that good, you can take the teaching, but when you're in there, you're in the circle, you're on the mat. How do you take the teaching and adapt to what's in front of you?
And then. So I was invited to one meet where it was a Friday night, and I met what became the new next best thing. I didn't know who he was. All I knew was when he walked onto the floor, I said, wait a minute, what is happening here? Like, this one looks like a dude. This looks like a dude. And he was facing a top 10 opponent. And so I thought, this is not going to be easy. Then it hits. He wrestles in college like a guy who's a pro wrestler in the future at 184 pounds. And his name is Lenny Pinto. Now, Lenny's from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. And the first time I saw him, I thought, different look, different vibe. Now, Peyton Robb, I was all in on. Mikey, I was all in on. Liam, I was all in on. Ridge Lovett, Brock Hardy, the guys that
we know the name.
You got
we know
comfortable with. But I didn't know Lenny Pinto. And Lenny did a move. I've never seen a guy be as aggressive with his hips at 184 pounds as Lenny is. And he's super explosive. And the throw that he made in the middle of this match when he was actually under duress. And I went, okay, there's a guy. That's a guy. If you haven't gone to see this year's Huskers wrestling team, put it on your schedule. Put it on your schedule. And there you got a few more opportunities to do so. They're there this weekend against Arizona State. I want to say it's Sunday.
Yes, wrestling on Sunday.
Sunday at 1:30 against Arizona State. And they've made tickets available from $1 to $7.
Woo!
1 to 7. That's it. I'm just saying on a Sunday afternoon, then there's lots going on here in Lincoln on a Sunday afternoon. But I want to point out to you, you haven't seen this, if you haven't been to a wrestling event, or if you haven't been this year, find a way. find a way. Also, you can double up on Sunday, right? Because at 4 o'clock, men's hoops plays Maryland at PBA, right? If you haven't been over to Dillon, go watch this women's team because they're performing at a high level. And I wasn't aware of it until one of the young ladies reached out and she said, you actually mentioned me on air and I'd like to thank you. And I went, we don't talk about them much. Same for men's tennis. Same for men's gymnastics, which is a top 10 program, right? The women's gymnastics we get to hear from, and we love the fact that Heather Brink and the young ladies make themselves available to us on a regular basis, right? So that helps us know them, helps us care about them. Shout out to Kenzie Davis. Their show tonight, her and Emily Spence, 8 o'clock tonight here on the ticket, Talking Tens. Kenzie popped a 9.9 this week.
Woo.
And she's striving for a perfect 10. Like that's she obsesses about it. And then Emily, her international success, we should be talking about. Also at home this weekend, track and field. They're at Devaney Thursday, Friday. No, it's Friday and Saturday.
Saturday. Yep.
Friday, Saturday, in their tune-up. And the throwers in Nebraska track are top level, both men's and women's. Whether it's hammer throw, weight throw, shot put, bravo. But they've got sprinters who are stepping up in the game. Of course, Darren Ruff, who's local, and shout out to his dad for always being supportive. That's another thing, right? To have sprinters and hurdlers be good at it. And, we have our own Rika who keeps us, keeps us on board, making sure that we give the hurdlers their proper love. And then the young ladies from softball who went down to Houston, went 3-1.
You know who Big Ten pitcher of the week is, right?
Say it,
Courtney Waltz.
Courtney, well done. And her partner in crime, Maya Felder, hit a bomb to give her the scoring difference. It's just a really good time. Swimming and diving, Reagan and Madison, they're headed to, I believe it's Ann Arbor for the Big Ten meet this weekend as well. So get out if you can. Get out. I'm still waiting for somebody to call in. Maybe we'll plan it. Text in if you understand, if you were part of the Husker rifle program and can break that down to us. Because I can honestly say that's the sport that I know the least amount about.
What I do know is they beat the Air Force and they beat Army and Navy somewhat regularly, and I don't know if I should be impressed or worried. Or both.
Both is in play. Right? You're right. Not sure. Right?
One or the other, maybe both.
Right? Yeah, you think about
maybe
that.
The other coach should be having conversations with our players for anything post-career.
Right? Right?
No?
Like it's a thing. You go, wait a minute. That's really good. Wait a minute. I need for you to not be so good at that unless you're the best. We should be the best at it. So all in play. From the Sardahaman text line, hey, DP, I love all the personalities you bring to the table every day. They're all great. J-Sip, AD, Raph, Strick, Jake, yourself, etc. Whatever you're doing, it's working. There's never a dull moment at the ticket. Thank you, Eric from Lincoln. Eric, nope, sir. Thank you. That's kind of what we just want to have some fun with it. And that's what we're trying to do every day. Aaron says this. Hey, DP, I want to thank you so much. Thank you for giving us a radio station that follows the Huskers, local sports, and has former and current players and coaches to give us tremendous insight. I just came in to talk to you about doing something for you, and you completely turned it around and took time to actually talk to me. Your generosity is amazing. I'm so glad you have time for ordinary people when you could just have said thanks and I'm busy. Once again, thank you. And that's why I listen to the station. Listen, Aaron's come in before. And we're at that phase where, like, we meet a lot of people. And I don't, like yesterday, I mean, there's just a ton of people, coming in, and we were trying to, put names and faces together. But Aaron has a very unique face, so I remembered him. And he came in and said, hey, there's something I want to do for you guys, which was amazing. It was amazing. Like, I was like, wait a minute, like random, like we didn't solicit anything. We didn't ask you anything. He says, I want to do this thing for you. And I said, whoa, you know what? First of all, I'm going to give you a hug. Second of all, the rule in this life for me is simple. When given in abundance, give in abundance. Like my wife just yells all the time, you're way too generous. But what's the point if it's not connected to something good? Like we do. Yeah, my shoe buddy was like, hey man, I got these shoes. I can get you like 50 pair. Now, mind you, in my head, I went through the checklist of 50 pair of shoes and every justification and validation that I could use for my wife not to kick me out of the house for 50 new pair of shoes showing up. But the right thing to do was take care of my people, take care of my dudes. And look, nobody loves a new pair of shoes like I do. I understand the feeling of when you get a new pair of shoes.
DP, it's special.
Right?
It's like a feeling. It's a feeling. I'm with you. I'm there with you.
Right? So even then, she still looked at me like, you gave away 20 pairs. But then in the same thinking, I saw the smiles, and it was my way of saying thank you. Because this thing that we do, while we all are blessed and favored to be able to get to do it, like we get to do this. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to pay everybody top dollar across the board all the time from day one. There are things that we can do in the space that I would like to do. So those things, those small things, which are statements out loud that, hey, I appreciate you. I see you. Like you can't get a shoe size without having the conversation. The conversation led us to become all more connected because
we know who looked down.
What I'm just going to say to you, if you go to your friends and do it in a confined space where you can actually see them, and you walk up to them and say, hey, what size shoes do you wear? The scientific study that we just validated here at the ticket was if you are a full size, you look them dead square in the eye and say, I'm a full size, especially if you're above 13.
DP, I looked you in the eyes and I wear 14.
Yep. If you're 13, 14, 15, 16, you say it matter of fact. Like Raph was like, I'm a 16, bro. Mark, look, it was easy. But if you are a half size dude, you have questions about yourself. Like you are not settled into yourself, quite frankly, because you look down at your feet because you have to ponder. Like, I got to tell this man I'm a half size.
And do I give him the half? Do I give him the full?
Or do I go up a size, right? Because depending on the shoe and depending on the vendor. And, oh, by the way, if you're under size 13, no matter what size you are, you can walk into any shoe store and find your shoe in that style, in that color, in that size. But if you're above a 13 and you have to go into a store, you are rolling the dice like you are betting on the length of the national anthem at the Super Bowl. Because you are rolling
such a thing.
Like you are rolling craps. Because it is, look, man, I wear 14s and I know that immediately puts me in a 33% chance of getting those shoes in that size. Mm-hmm. And the higher that number, the lower the percentage. Like, and you go and like, wait a minute. So then you become masters of online shopping, right? Because big-footed people looking out for each other. Like they're like, you know what? We gonna get on eBay. We gonna get on Amazon. We gonna set specials. Shout out and pour some out for East Bay going under, because East Bay was the old MVP for big feet people. Like it was,
that magazine was special,
right? East Bay was our favorite space, right? And then you're right. If you are a wide foot, you understand that you got to tiptoe a lot.
There are brands I can't wear because my feet are so wide.
Like we know Nike. If I'm a full size, I got to go up a size. I can't go up a half size. First of all, Nike don't love me that way. Nike ain't trying to give me a 14 and a half. DP, you are out of luck. You are out of luck, man. Get your 14s or your 15s and ride. Like this is how this works. And you go, like it's all those. without any provocation. Austin, if you walked into one of those discount shoe stores like the one they have at the mall, right? There's one as soon as you walk in, and you walk in, you look at the style of shoe, and then what do?
I look at the style of shoe.
So if you see a shoe that looks good,
immediately, first of all, I got to see the number first.
Right.
Because if the number is too small, I'm not even going to tell myself I want it.
Right.
I don't want to get disappointed.
Right? Because you know. Okay, is there 14? Is there 14? 14. Dang, nothing. On to the next year.
I'll work up for nothing. I don't like that feeling. Not one bit.
You get excited and you go, oh, this one. Wait a minute. I saw a pair of designer shoes that I know are worth like $400, and they were on sale at that store for like $69. And I was doing mental backflips. And I said, calm down. This ain't happening. This is not happening.
You got to see those two magic numbers next to each other, 1 and 4.
This is not happening. And then you go straight to the bottom of the pile. Like you go bottom, like they've got all the boxes, you go straight to the bottom. Because you're like, normally most people, right? If in the bigger sizes, if they exist, they don't stay long.
No.
And if they have the bigger sizes, the people grab them, they're sold. And every once in a while, somebody moves the Bigfoot sizes to the top. And those people are angels on earth.
Yes.
Those people are the greatest people in the world because they looked out for us. They looked out for us. And shout out to the lady who runs the place because now I gave her the story and she knows. She actually picks a day of the week and puts the big sizes at the top for one day. One day a week, it's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot shopping at the discount store. So
she's got her wings.
She's like, I was like, you are the MVP. I'm gonna go buy you coffee. And I did. We'll talk about it when we come through. Actually, Rico's here. I want to bring Rico in because I want Rico to be a part of this discussion. We're going to go through some of the conferences in college basketball, and I want you to tell me what school comes to mind as to who you think is in first place, and then we'll go to who's actually in first place. Through all of this, we appreciate y'all for hanging out on Old School.
You're listening to Old School with D&J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high-quality bays that track ball speed, launch angle, club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate gameplay. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Ever think of having a career in plumbing or heating? Do you enjoy watching your favorite game in a nice, comfortable space? Taking a shower after a warm day? Well, everyone we serve at Biggerstaff Plumbing, Heating, and Air sure does. If you're interested in a career in plumbing, heating, and air, come join our team where you'll get paid while training. No experience required. Enjoy great pay and benefits in a friendly Biggerstaff Plumbing at 4466-8118 or apply online at biggerstaffs.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. Let's put numbers together. Let's get a budget put together. And let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Shopping for insurance can be a frustrating and tedious task. Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln has a full staff of do the work all for you. Brokers utilizes over 20 insurance companies to save their clients money. Brokers Insurance Agency will always do what is in the client's best interest and will find the best program to fit your needs. Call Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 to get a quote today, or find us online at brokersinsurancene.com.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soups, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Back to old school with DP and J.
Welcome back. Let's make sure we have the YouTube audio up. They said you couldn't hear it.
Temporary internet blip.
Got
We're
it.
fixed.
Got it.
Hit it.
We are joined by super producer Rico.
I'm back, losers.
You can't get away from me. I'm too great. I'm too great.
Foreman's lucky he ain't here.
I'm too great. You got too much going on. So we're at that time of year where you have to start to pay attention to the other conferences in basketball, right? Right?
I mean, you can try, but
you ready for this?
Once it hits March, it doesn't matter.
Right? Okay. So if I asked you, Rico, Austin, who's in first? When you think of the Mountain West Conference, who do you think of?
San Diego State.
Yeah.
Rico?
That was San Diego State. We're talking basketball.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's the team.
Mm-hmm. Currently at within the conference, they lead the conference at 19-2.
New Mexico.
That's. Do we talk about New Mexico State at some point? No,
Not
today.
No.
On top of it, the San Diego, and they're number 21 in the country.
Okay.
So the San Diego State Aztecs lead the conference at 11-2. Nevada is number 2. Nevada is number 2.
Interesting.
So start to make your notes. Pac-12 conference. Who do you think of first?
Oregon's been putting in that work, but usually UCLA.
Oregon's not good enough to win a conference. UCLA and Arizona, I believe.
UCLA ranked number 4 is number 1 at 12-2. Arizona at number 8 is second at 11-4, followed by Utah. Followed by Utah.
That's not supposed to
followed
happen.
by Utah.
USC always has like a good player that'll go like top 10 in the draft,
Okay,
but they don't do anything.
The Southeast Conference. Who do you think of first in basketball?
Kentucky. Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide is undefeated. Number 1 in the country. They're actually number 1 in the country.
First time in 20 years.
Not fair that they get football and number 1 in basketball. They're
Missouri
undefeated.
was doing really well earlier.
Texas A&M is number 2. Tennessee at number 10 is number 3. Missouri, Auburn, Kentucky all tied for 4th at 7-5.
Shout out to Tennessee for 2 buzzer-beating losses.
Right, it did matter, didn't it? It does matter, doesn't it? It's a when you think of the Big Ten Conference, is it simple that Purdue is number 1 Are they the mark for? Are they the standard for Big Ten basketball?
They've kind of taken it over.
I still think of Michigan State first,
Yeah.
but modern success probably
Purdue.
Okay.
Modern regular season success.
On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being top, how surprised are you that Purdue lost to Northwestern?
5.
You're very surprised or not surprised?
Extremely.
Very surprised.
He's stunned.
Like
I'll
I
give
know
him 2.
I know Northwestern is good this year,
Hmm?
but Purdue is just no.
Purdue's guards are my question mark for them. Northwestern has guards.
They couldn't score. Nobody else could score yesterday. That's Eddie did his thing, but nobody else could get a bucket. I'm going to test you both because I know that neither one of you follows the MEAC.
Oh, perfect.
The MEAC, HBCU lane. Who do you think of if I say HBCU and then basketball, or at all?
North Carolina Central.
North Carolina Central. Rico.
Probably North Carolina Central.
The Howard Bison are 7-1.
Wow.
And lead the MEAC. Norfolk State is second. Maryland Eastern Shore, Morgan State, North Carolina Central, Delaware State, Coppin State, and then South Carolina State. The MEAC is doing its thing. This is hilarious.
Uh-oh.
Ivy League.
Princeton.
I was just watching a Yale-Harvard game
So you
not
know.
long ago.
Yeah. Yale currently sits in a tie with Princeton at 7-3.
Princeton.
Penn is 6-4. The Brown Bears, the most unfamiliar of all Ivy League schools, right?
They exist.
Like
They're
they really are. Like it's a close time between Brown and Columbia. That they when you think of Ivy League, those are the two that you don't always think of.
I always expect to see the Princeton, orange and black P somewhere in the bracket.
Like sneaking in.
It's always there.
Nah,
Sneaking
It's
in.
either them
Yale.
or it's either them or the Harvard Shield.
All fair in that space. Here's one for you. The Big East Conference. Who do you think of? And then who actually is in first?
Who do I think of? I think of old Big East. I don't think of this.
Which
new
is
Big
the
East.
only right answer.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
It's the only right answer. It's the only right answer.
God's
Is that
Big East.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, what are you talking about? It's
Right.
the new the Big Catholic.
Do
That's
you
what
know
this
who?
is.
Do you know who's in first place currently in the Big East?
I know Creighton's making a push, but I think it's Xavier.
Creighton is third.
I think Xavier leads.
Marquette.
Oh.
Shaka Smart
Okay.
and the number 11 Marquette Golden Eagles are like I'm helping you get ready for March
Oh
Madness.
yeah, Shaka went to
this is-
Marquette.
right?
I was gonna say Xavier, Marquette, then Creighton.
Big
I
Ten
thought.
Conference basketball. Who you got?
So Purdue leads, but you have a log.
No, Big 12. Sorry.
Oh, Big 12.
Big
yeah.
12.
12.
Who do I think of first?
Yeah.
Kansas.
Kansas is kind of this.
Yeah.
Who's in first?
It's either Texas or Kansas State.
Iowa State's up there.
Iowa State is fifth
Yeah, come on.
at
Oh,
7-5.
I'm
Number
gonna go
one,
Wildcats.
Horns. The
Ah,
number
dang
6
it.
Horns at 9-3. Baylor at number 2, ranked number 9. Kansas ranked number 5 at 8-4. Kansas State at 12, right, at 7-5, and then number 19 Iowa State. Also missing from the top half of that, the number 22 TCU Horned Frog. So
Big 12's going to cause some.
Big
well,
12's going to
maybe.
be a problem. ACC. Who do you think about?
Who do I think about?
Yeah.
North Carolina and Duke.
You think Duke, Carolina, Virginia's play their way into the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Highest ranked ACC team right now.
Uh-huh.
Wasn't Clemson like in the top 3 at one point?
Clemson led. Pitt was tied for second for a while.
Uh-huh.
Miami's up there.
The Pitt Panthers lead the ACC.
There you go.
You have Capel.
They're tied with Virginia at 11-3. Miami at 11-4. They're ranked number 15. Clemson, unranked, but at 10-4. NC State, 23 in the country at 10-4. Duke, Carolina in the middle of the pack. The Hokies down in the bottom 4. And then Louisville. Louisville is 1-13.
Worst basketball program in the country.
Where's
right?
where are my orange?
1-13. Your orange is right below North Carolina.
Okay.
At
Come to
8-6,
Cameron on
8-6,
Saturday.
8-6. One final one. The A10, the Atlantic 10.
The A10.
The
I have to
Atlantic
think who's in
10.
the
So
A10.
I think St. Louis. I think Dayton.
St. Louis
I think
is
VCU.
4th. Dayton is number 2. But number 1,
Not the Bonnies.
Yes. The Rams of Virginia Commonwealth lead the A10. We appreciate it. Thanks you guys for hanging out with us. Don't go anywhere. It's all speed. It's all speed coming up here on the Ticket. Ticket weeknights, then Talking Tens, Inside the Pocket, little Harrison Orange to get you through. But Megan will take us through the next hour here. Ticket weeknights coming in hot.